Hi, I'm fairly tired right now. It's 3 in the morning and I'm just getting home. We had a $3,926 day today, and the reason this is impressive is not because it's the most I've ever made. It's because this did not have to do with sale of parts, sale of computers, sale of contract services or anything. This was solely us being brought broken shit and us giving people back stuff like this that was broken but in working condition, and that alone by itself amounting to $3,926, which is pretty fucking cool. But it has the side effect of me looking like and feeling like a complete zombie. So the topic that I have today is when to fire your customers. I've touched on this a little bit in previous videos, but I want to go a bit more in depth with this video. I want to get across an important point about firing clients. A lot of people think that when you're getting rid of a customer that you've lost an opportunity. I now do not have an opportunity to make this money. But that is not how it works. It's not that simple. The reality is that once these people start taking up your time, you're now losing opportunities to make other money. You may let one phone call go to voicemail that you should have picked up, because that's going to be the phone call that makes you $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000. But you're unable to pick up the phone because you're dealing with somebody like the person I'm going to describe in this here review that I'm going to read. You have to see it not as a lost opportunity, but rather as a gained opportunity. And I know that watching money walk out the door or pushing money out the door may seem very, very difficult to do. Even if this person is a royal pain in the ass, even if this person has driven you nuts, it sometimes hurts to push money away. But I need you not to see it as money you've pushed away, but rather as money that you've brought in. Because when this person is not present, you can now focus on what is present. I had a friend named John who had a very, very good way of saying what I always felt and what I always practiced but could never quite put into words as clearly. And I'm going to paraphrase because I haven't spoken to him in a while. It went something like, you'll notice that 90% of your problems are caused by 10% of your customers. And that's only acceptable if that 10% of your customers are making you 90% of your money. Again, I'm paraphrasing on the percentages, but it's a very, very good point. And I'm going to try to demonstrate this to you through a review that I read of another business. Again, this is not a review of my business, so I try to keep this very unbiased. I don't try to make these videos where I'm pointing out things with reviews about our business, because obviously I'm biased to defend my business. I'm not really biased to defend this business that's thousands of miles away. I'm just using it to illustrate a point. So I'm going to post this review. You can take some time to read it. Fast forward about 1 minute ahead and you'll get to my commentary. The first red flag here is where he goes, the reason I spoke to both of them so many times before I got to enter this dialogue is because I had to leave at least 3 messages before I got in touch with the operations manager. He seemed baffled that I want to establish a personal relationship with somebody for my professional clients' very expensive equipment containing their valuable data instead of going through the website. Blah, blah, blah. It's just a hint that I'd like my hand held a little bit. Here are 2 red flags that you need to be careful of. The first red flag is going back to that other video where somebody has to speak to the owner. They must speak to the owner. They must speak to a manager. All that bullshit. We're like, I want to speak to the owner. The entire point of setting up a business with good employees is that you will never have to speak to an owner. I've also read other reviews where customers have said, why can't I speak to the owner? What do you mean he's not available and he doesn't have a phone service? Isn't that why they have cell phones? Well, guess what, asshole? Isn't that why he has employees? So the owner doesn't have to speak to you? If somebody immediately demands, to speak to a manager or an owner, red fucking flag. Second red flag, and this is the more important one, is when somebody needs their hand held extensively for something that is very basic. Now, I'm not going to say that I try to rush customers off the phone, out of the store, just try to get them to get in the slot, agree to something, give me money and go away. Would that be ideal? Absolutely. I would like nothing more than for people to fill out exactly what's wrong with their machine, as precise as possible so I don't have to diagnose it, leave money inside the computer, not care that it will take forever to fix, and come back as soon as I tell them to. Or just never at all. That would be ideal. Obviously, that's a ridiculous fantasy land, and that's not how the world works. At my business, I have set it up so that there is actually a person whose job it is to deal with difficult people. So if you're somebody who for a $20 or $30 or $40 repair needs your handheld for 45 minutes before we do it, I don't have to say no anymore. I don't have to say, I'm sorry, I need to spend time doing other things, because I actually have a full-time employee that is dedicated to doing this. And he takes pride in it. He likes it. It's not a job to him. When there's a customer that we know no other repair shop is going to deal with, he is actually happy and proud to spend an hour talking to you in order to get your money. It's something that he likes doing. He just takes pride in it. And because I have somebody like that, I understand the value of holding people's hands. At the same time, that doesn't make it any less of a red flag. When somebody requires their hand held, when somebody says, I don't want to fill out the check-in form, can you do it for me? When somebody refuses to purchase a service on the website, needs to have a 45 or 10 or 20 or 30-minute discussion with you when they know what's wrong, they know the cost, and you've went over it with them. When they need to have a 10 or 20 or 30-minute discussion before they purchase that service, every single fucking time, that's a problem. Because again, if that person is not giving you 90% of your money, they don't have the right to take up 90% of your time. They have the right to take up 10% of your time. Now, let's move on to the third red flag here, which is what I've already read, which is my client's very expensive equipment containing their very valuable data. The way this is worded, this person is self-important. When somebody has a gross, inflated sense of their own importance, they are, and this doesn't have to do with this business. This goes with every customer in every field. They're most likely a douchebag. And I know that this is a very, very sweeping generalization and that it is not always true. There are a lot of times where people actually do have something really, really fucking important and they really do need it handled properly. I know that this is a sweeping generalization, but it is also one that very often is very correct. When somebody has an extreme sense of their own importance, they are usually a douchebag. And unless they're making you 90% of your money, you need to tell these people that they need to go away. Moving on. It also says, I was explicit that this was an audition for our Apple business, which gets not insignificant traffic. Again, self-important. The word audition. Now, I understand that somebody may want to see the kind of work that I do before I do it, but don't use the word audition for me. I'm not auditioning for shit. I do good work. You can read about me on the internet. You can ask me questions, but audition? I am not jumping through hula hoops for you. And further, not insignificant traffic. I don't give a shit about your significant / or not insignificant traffic. Again, self-important. Douche. Moving on. The bad news. I didn't hear about it until the package was already back to the office. They forgot to call. I got a paid invoice and guess something was wrong. It was explained to me that I waived my confirmation call by writing expedite on the box, which I'd done on the phone rep's advice. So this guy calls numerous times to set up one job. He calls several times. He writes expedite on the box. He wants this shit done as quickly as possible. And he becomes surprised when they seek to get this thing the fuck out of their shop as soon as possible. Now, I understand why they got to the work as soon as humanly possible. I really do, because when I have a customer like this at my business, it is my personal goal to make sure that their shit spends the least amount of time here as humanly possible. I don't want to receive phone calls from them asking about status. I don't want to spend 10 or 20 or 30 minutes on the phone with you every 5 to 20 minutes because you have a new question. I want you to have your stuff back fixed, be very happy, and hopefully never see you again. And You'd think that that's the case here, but it's not. He goes, because we didn't get the confirmation of work, we didn't have the opportunity to confirm it, nor to transfer money into the expense account that was given to them. We incurred a nice $35 overdraft fee. Who's the only person who could do anything about it? Justin, who decided to use poor awkward Kyle as an intermediary to offer me $22 of credit for a $35 mistake. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I know the point of an expense account is to have a limited amount of money available only for the expenses that you believe you are going to incur. But excuse me? What the fuck? No, I'm not paying your overdraft fee. They're wrong for even offering you this much credit towards an overdraft fee. Your overdraft fee is because of how you've decided to run your business. Over the whatever financial clusterfuck is in your life. I'm not saying that I know everything about how to run a business. I'm surely not fit to be financial advisor of any business. But you don't have enough money in your expense account for your big IT firm to pay for one little computer repair, fucking screen replacement, or a hard drive. What the fuck? What are you doing wrong that your business does not have enough money to pay for one computer repair out of an expense account? What are you going to do if one of your employees gets stranded somewhere? What are you going to do if a SCSI drive and one of your servers dies and you need to overnight it? What, you're going to fucking log into Chase.com and wait for the transfer to go? Excuse me, why does your fucking expense account have no money in it? And why are you okay with criticizing another IT business while openly admitting that your own IT business is broke? And also, self-important. Why do I care about your expense account? And then we get to the worst part of this, which is just, this reeks of douche. What if this had involved a data purge? Or if our client's check had bounced and they'd refused payment? What if this laptop were involved in a lawsuit and the client suddenly discovered that it would be invalidated if the repairs were completed? And what if the way Mercury is aligned with the Earth is the reason that things stopped working altogether? What the fuck? Yes, that shit may happen. But yes, that shit is only going to happen to a very specific type of douchebag, which is probably you. Which is probably why you should not be doing business with him. Or her, since I'm trying to keep some level of anonymity going here. What in God's name is wrong with you that you're bringing up all these what-ifs? You're not supposed to do business based on what-ifs. What-ifs tell you that somebody is most likely going to become a problem. What-ifs are a great indicator of whether somebody is paranoid. What-ifs are a great indicator that somebody may have OCD. What-ifs are a great indicator that somebody is going to look at their 5-year-old piece of shit when you're done working on it and stare at it for 15 minutes, looking for the little scratch that had been there 4 years before you ever saw it, and use that as an excuse to not pay you for your work. What-ifs are a great sign that this is somebody that you probably shouldn't be doing business with. Ending this with just the most dickish of quotes. They've lost the 5 to 15 monthly Apple hardware jobs we were going to send them, however, which adds expense we have to pass on to our clients. But better expensive and well done than cheap, unpredictable, and rude. Honestly, the attitude toward it transformed what should have been a minor error into a stinging indictment of their management towards customer service, communication, and anything beyond the immediate bottom line. Time to reevaluate, guys. Their attitude towards this person was incredibly healthy because there may very well have been 20, 30, 40, 60, 90 other customers that they weren't able to deal with because they were on the phone holding this person's hand. All they purchased was probably a repair that has a profit margin of $40. There is a good reason that they ignored this person. There's a reason that this is a very, very successful company that's done very, very well in what they do, even though they're in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere. And again, self-importance. They've lost the 5 to 15 jobs that we send, but oh no, I don't care about your number. Don't quote me numbers. I don't give a fuck about how much business you have or how much business you claim to have. I'm not judging you based on how much money you may make me. I'm judging you based on how much of a problem and a pain in the ass that you're going to be. And that's what this very successful company did here. My apologies if my points have not been as clear as usual. Again, I'm very, very tired right now, but I like to make these videos while an idea is fresh in my head, and this is one that was very fresh. And this also looked like a perfect example of what it is I'm trying to demonstrate. So let's go over the bullet points here. Self-importance. The more important somebody makes themselves out to be, where they not just are implying that they're important or they look important. I mean, when they actually go out of their way to explain how important they are, they're most likely going to cause you a problem. When people try to brag about whatever it is they're offering you, like, if you get this right, I'll be able to give you all this other business. There's a lot that I can do for you if you do this right. Again, that's just a bunch of high fives and circle jerk crap that most of the time does not come true. A lot of people do like to make believe they are more important than they are, and they show you all the things they can do for you, all the doors they can open for you, all the success they can bring you, and a lot of the times they're just frankly full of shit. Another point here is the hand holding. When somebody cannot have something done without you specifically holding their hand for a high period of time, you need to make sure that what they're paying you is worthwhile. If I'm getting a contract with a school that's going to be sending me $30,000 of gross income repairs per month, I will spend 6 hours on the phone with you every single day. I don't care. But if you're coming to get your iPhone fixed and it takes you more than a half hour to fill out the check-in sheet, I'm going to tell you to take this iPhone over to somebody else who is totally okay with making 50 cents a minute to deal with your crap while paying rent, employees, and everything else. Be very careful who you choose to do business with in the long term. Be very careful what your policies are when it comes to firing clients. Firing clients is not about losing business. Firing clients is about the amount of other business you will lose if you keep this one motherfucker here. I used to fire a lot of people. As I explained, I have somebody who works here now whose job it is to try to retain difficult people. So obviously, I don't have to fire as many people because he's just going to be sitting there doing nothing. If I don't have any difficult customers, that will mean that my employee has sat there and done nothing but read Reddit all day. And I don't want that to happen. But I also have to be careful of the volume of difficult people I give him, and also have to look at the amount of money each one of these difficult people will be bringing to my business. If he has the capacity to deal with 15 difficult people a day, and I have 4, I may throw another one on there if there's a chance to make $200 or $300. But if I have 60 difficult people to deal with in a day, I'm obviously not going to take all of them on, because then I'm not going to be able to deal with all the other customers who may be willing to give me money without being a royal pain in the ass. Think about this when you're firing clients. Don't think of it as a lost opportunity. Think of it as a gained opportunity to deal with somebody else. Think of it as, I am now free to make money without dealing with hardship. Now, I do have to do this, and I'm actually in the process of doing this right now. We have a customer who will buy iPhone screens, and his order will never amount to more than $70 or $80. Now, if he has a refund that takes 3 days instead of 1 day to process, we will get a 45-minute phone call. If he gets one defective screen in his order of 15 or 20 screens, which is very, very rare, we will get a very, very long email and a very, very long phone call about all this other crap. And I just have to look at this thinking, I've made about $60 off of you in the last 9 weeks. This does not entitle you to do anything other than call me and spend 20 to 30 seconds bitching at me. And again, maybe I'm just not somebody who understands customer service. I like to think differently from how I treat people, and I like to think differently from how much I give away to people who I know are never going to spend money with me. But sometimes I just think I don't really understand it. But I did have to fire this person. I referred him to a neighboring business. I hit the little delete button on our website for his account because I don't want another order where I'm going to make $6 off of you, but then you take up 40 minutes of my receptionist's time. This also does happen to be a person who will berate somebody when it's a woman on the phone, but funnily will not berate myself or the salesman when we're on the phone, and he'll kind of turn into a little chicken shit or a bitch when he starts talking to one of us. And sometimes we'll even have this guy on speakerphone when he starts ranting off on the receptionist, and she has a little bit of an accent, so she's kind of an easy target. Whereas one of us, the way we talk, the way we carry ourselves, the way we know our products and services and what's going on, you can't really pull that kind of shit on us. You can't really pull the whole, why does a refund take 3 days, no business takes 3 days, when, you know, Macy's, JCPenney, Sears, Newegg.com, ZipSimFly.com, a lot of legitimate businesses actually do take 3 days to get your refund from them posted to your credit card. But I digress. Sometimes you simply need to fire clients. And it's something that I do on a daily basis. And it's something that you should also do. Because in the amount of time that we don't spend dealing with this one fucking jackass, I very well could be dealing with somebody that's going to make me thousands of dollars. Or, worst case scenario, I may just be dealing with regular people that are going to make me 20 to 40 bucks here and there, who are pleasant. And either way, I can live with that. Now I know what you may be thinking by this point. I'm not going to throw away business. Why would I listen to some profanity-spewing, unprofessional asshole with an unbuttoned shirt? And you're kind of right. I don't aim to be the most professional. I don't aim to care about whether or not I'm cursing when I'm making a point. I don't care if I may be offending any specific demographic. I don't look for the 20 different interpretations of what I said just to see that one of them may be offensive to one person. I don't care. Also, my shirt is unbuttoned because I got home at 3 a.m. to make this video, and I didn't feel like rebuttoning it. You don't see ads sponsoring these videos. You don't see a company logo in the beginning of these videos. You don't hear cheesy music, theme music playing in these videos. These videos are not made as an attempt for me to make more money, to promote a brand, to get rich. They're made to help people like you. I'm talking to you like I would talk to a friend at a bar. I'm not talking to you like a CEO of a company talks to other people in a conference where he's not really getting a point across candidly. I'm not trying to treat you like a phony. I'm trying to treat you like a friend that I want to see succeed. The entire point of this video series is to get people to not make the mistakes that I made when I started from nothing and became a successful business owner. I've been doing this for about 16 years, and I'm turning 25 next week, which means that I have been firing paying customers since I was 8 years old. And somehow, I still have enough paying customers after 16 years of daily customer firings that I can make $3,926 off of onesie repairs. Not selling laptops, not selling devices or accessories, not selling repair parts, not selling repair service contracts, just off of fix an iPhone, here's it back. Fix your laptop screen, here's it back. Fix your motherboard, here's it back. Just off of this basic crap, $3,926. So I probably have a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. And it's my fervent hope with this video series, not for me to get rich, not for me to make more money or promote my brand. I barely even have a brand or know what a brand or social media are. My hope with this video series is that tomorrow you don't make the mistake that I made today. Tomorrow you don't make the mistake that I made yesterday, and that tomorrow you make so much money off of knowing what you're doing, off of knowing how to not repeat the mistakes that I've made, that you make my $3,926 look like dog shit. My goal is for me to be going to you for a business loan tomorrow. For you to be firing me tomorrow. That's my goal, and I hope to hell that you achieve it.